We had the big rally off of the 200 period again yesterday. Another great opportunity. Institutions are taking advantage of this. BlackRocks of the world are taking advantage of this. You know, all the fear and trepidation. The herd, the herd's amazing. They thought Bitcoin over 100,000. They thought Bitcoin 108, 109,000. That was a great opportunity for Bitcoin. And we saw Michael Saylor buy in the high 90s and the mid 90s as well. I'm not sure. The herd thought that this was the bargain of a lifetime, but they don't think this is an opportunity. They don't think Bitcoin's on sale. Absolutely incredible. What are these people smoking, man? Bitcoin's dropped about 28.5% here. Again, around our 200 period moving average. I think you're going to see a bottom. Bitcoin for the session, after we had that bottoming tail, we ended up 1.25% after being down. Okay, we were down for the session. We bottomed at the 200, and we ended up at 1.25%. And then for the session, Wednesday, we got the news that Trump is pausing the tariffs on auto. The market liked that, and crypto rallied as well. And we got a rally of 3.86%. We were above 4% at the highs. We're above the 10 period. We closed above the 10 period, the red line right there. And we're just underneath our 20 period moving average. We're likely going to try to make an attempt to try to clear this high and get above our downward trend line, test our 50 period, our 100 period moving average, and 100,000 directly overhead. We'll be watching. But if we have wave 1 and 2, wave 3 could be our parabolic wave we'll be watching. And all of this is just our first subwave developing of minor wave 5. So keep that in mind. So smaller waves, but I think you've got 1 and 2 done. We had nearly a 4% rally. Bitcoin right now is down 0.30% as I'm making the video. About an hour and a half into the session for Thursday. Friday and over the weekend, we got confirmation of a bottom. I told you that. And then we got the announcement on Sunday. He said to me, "Oh, you think you predicted the announcement of the crypto strategic reserves?" No, my indicators predicted something was about to happen because I have good indicators. Somebody say that to me on social media. People are so delusional. Again, more bullish signals are happening. Again, with that day of the crypto strategic reserve announcement, we get this bullish signal right here. And again, surrounding our 200 period moving average. The topping signals came back over here. Remember when I called the top on January 20th, Inauguration Day? And now, again, we're getting a bottoming signal. Bottom, short-term top, top here, top over here, and now we're getting it yet again. So I expect you're going to see more and more of my signals turn bullish, and the momentum line right now as I speak is turning bullish. I'll show you two in a moment. So again, I think we're going to see trending signals begin to turn back to bullish. I think here you'll see ours flip back to blue, and you'll see this signal begin to play out surrounding our bottom at 200. Again, great opportunity. I can't stress enough. I talked about it over and over. This was a great opportunity. I loaded up here. Got a little bit there on Wednesday, a boatload here under the 200 period moving average, and then more here as we came back for the test because I told you I thought it was wave 2. Great opportunity. People are too busy crying. And again, when Bitcoin's going on sale, they want to be crybabies. Absolutely incredible. People throw temper tantrums on social media. It's really just ridiculous because we're setting up a higher low and then we're going to get the wave 3 and we're going to go soaring higher. But a bullish signal happening here that's for momentum that's likely giving us a bottom that's going to flip the trend signals back to bullish. Live it, love it, learn it. Now look what's happening at the 200 period moving average. We're starting to get blue bars here with momentum flipping back to bullish. We saw momentum really shift at the December high with those divergences that we had on the RSI and the MACD. And again, momentum shifted, and it's been bearish really, even though we made a new high. We got some blue bars going on here, but we weren't able to really flip the trend here. And again, momentum flipped back to bullish here, and with the ribbon, we couldn't flip it. And again, more bearishness here. But now we're starting to get the blue bars. We're starting to try to clear the ribbon. And can we eventually turn this around and clear this area? I think that's likely going to be the case. And I think, again, people get really emotional at tops and bottoms. You know, they get very, very greedy and complacent at tops and very emotional. And then at bottoms, they get very fearful and the bearish sentiment and just very negative. And again, that's what we have right now. So I think you're in a bottoming process surrounding our 200 period moving average. But we've got to flip some of this stuff around, and we're starting to see some momentum turn back to bullish. Here we got blue bars here. Again, we've seen bars stop turning red and they've gone neutral, and now you're getting blue bars here as we possibly have a bottoming top process with our test of the 200 doing it twice. Bitcoin's got these massive bullish divergences all over the place. Got one right here. And again, I think we're going to go up and take out that trend line. The bears told us today's rally wasn't supposed, Wednesday's rally wasn't supposed to happen. Telling us, oh, you're all going to be sorry. I told you at the beginning of the week on Monday, I saw on social media one guy sitting here telling us how bearish the weekly chart, the weekly bar is. Well, you only have 1 day of data. This week we had a bearish bar and we got a bottoming tail, and now you're getting the same thing this week, and you have it here on the daily chart with both last week and this week the bottoming tails that are forming. People are so bearish, and the bears are telling us that we're not going to rally, and when we do, and they told us, oh, the rally was just filling, remember, oh, that just filled the CME gap, that filled the Bitcoin futures gap, and it's over, now we're going to crash big time. And when we go up and above that level and take out this trend line, then they're going to tell us, they're going to say it's a head and shoulders or a triple top or whatever they're going to tell us. And again, Bitcoin is likely going to end up taking out 109,000 and going probably at least towards 135,000 if take our time getting to the trend line, my target. It could be higher than that if we get there fast. It could be a little bit lower than that. But again, the very people telling us that the rally wasn't going to happen on for the Monday session, Sunday and Monday there, told us it's now over. We filled the Bitcoin futures gap, and now we're going down. The same people, when we go higher, are going to tell us some other nonsense. Okay, the bears get very bearish at the bottom, very bullish. The bulls are very, very bullish at the top. So again, I believe the herd, because they're so bearish, the herd very throwing in the towel and very upset, and then you got the bears that are telling us this is just going to keep going and everything. And again, we're likely bottoming. I think when we get above that trend line, I think bars reflecting the trend will turn back to bullish. I think we'll get that. And we had some of that in December with the December sell-off, and we had more of it here. I think that's going to be the case. Saw a lot of that with the previous sell-off between March and September. Tends to be bad for Bitcoin. That's why I said we're going to go higher in March and then probably peak in April at some point, or at least you very well could. Seasonality, that's very, very bad for Bitcoin. But again, we've had these sell-offs back over here. Saw the breakout of the weekly chart over here, and signals turned back to bullish, and we got this move. So I think we're going to see the bars flip back to positive, showing positive momentum back to blue when we take this trend line out. I think that's going to be the case. Could be as soon as tomorrow. If wave 2 is done, we're in wave 3, and that'll be a more parabolic type of a wave, an extended wave. I'll be watching for a breakout of this trend line, but again, I believe that we've bottomed, and again, we've got our bottoming tails at that 200 period moving average. All kinds of opportunity. Right on, right on, right on. Boatloads of money to be made with Bitcoin. I'm a trader. I really don't care which way Bitcoin goes. Again, I talked about these tops, talked about the bottom at January, talked about the bottom over here. I was looking for a higher low, but it go a little bit lower than I thought. That's okay because, again, Bitcoin went on sale. People would rather overpay for Bitcoin and buy the tops rather than buy Bitcoin when it goes on sale. Absolutely incredible. So, again, Bitcoin's going higher. I remain extremely bullish on Bitcoin. As I'm making the video, Bitcoin's going a little higher. I'm making the latter part of the video first, making the beginning of the video last. I was having an issue with the chart, so that's why I'm doing that. But anyways, we're trying to rally to the 20 period. But look at this. With our rally of just under 4%. We see the momentum line turn back to bullish now. And again, I warned you this was going to happen. I was looking for that higher low. We had these bottoming signals. I've warned you over here. We had the bottoming signals for the reversal. We dropped 7% below the 200. We got back above it. And then it was confirmed on Saturday before the crypto strategic reserve was ever announced. And then we had the pullback, and the herd began to get all upset because the big players were selling into the rally again, creating a bottoming process. But look at the signals that we've had. We had a confirmed bottom here, the confirmation bar, and that's confirmed. We got back-to-back bullish buy signals there. Bottoming signals after that. Look at the little B right there. That's telling me momentum is shifting. And again, the green circle here is telling me that a bottom has likely been put in. That's what that's telling me. And the X as well. Short-term momentum for that signal and short-term momentum for the B right here. And then what do we have? The little arrow. We flipped it right back over here, but then the momentum line's flipping, giving us the higher low right here at the 200 again. And look at what's happening. We're flipping right back to bullish. Do you see this? And now we're trying to rally further and likely going to flip the trending signals. We flipped momentum here with our momentum line, and we're probably, and the cloud has now flipped to green right here. Do you see the green cloud? We got that when we cleared this area right here. We're probably going to begin to flip other signals and try to climb back above the 100-day moving average. So again, I expect we are going to make new highs. I warned you that the balance of power had flipped to positive with that reversal and bottom that I called over here. Attacked. Again, I took advantage of that opportunity. Over here as we tested it, and again over here as we tested it. Got literally attacked. Saying Bitcoin's bottoming. The herd is so bearish, that's when you get bullish. You got people saying, no, it's okay. And the herd's getting very bearish, and the bears are telling us we're going to keep going. The herd is thrown in the towel, and that's where you get your bottoms, when you get capitulation, and that's what we have. So again, you got your bottoming process here that is, in my opinion, complete, as I warned you last Friday and Wednesday here as we first tested the 200, and then again as we did yesterday. I've been warning you about this bottoming process. Get the momentum line flip back to bullish. The impulse line is back to bullish with Wednesday's rally. The trending signals flip back to bullish next. Bullish divergence on the momentum line that I've been warning you about is now complete. That has given us this bottom, and it's going to go positive here probably in the next day or two, and we're going to get this wave 3. And then all the people that are telling us that the rally's not going to happen and it was over with the filling of the gap of the Bitcoin futures, a lot of people covering their shorts, and then going to go higher, and eventually we'll get some kind of pullback, and they're going to tell us it's over, or it's over again, and we're going to eventually break to new highs. So again, this is what bottoms are made of. I am extremely bullish on Bitcoin. I wasn't bullish on Bitcoin at the top like the herd was, but the herd is now extremely bearish. So again, you got to do the opposite of what the herd does. I called that top on January 20th and predicted the sell-off. Yes, we went lower than I thought, a little bit lower than that January low, but testing our 200 period, I told you if we didn't bottom there, we're going to bottom at this 200 period moving average. So I'm very bullish down here. I was very bearish up here. It was extremely bullish up here. Now they're very bearish, and they're going to calm down because we're about to get a massive rally. I think Thursday or Friday, we're going to try to move back into the positive portion of the cloud. We're attempting right now to flip back to bullish. It keeps flipping back and forth here. We're likely forming a bottoming process with the higher low. Got a bullish signal here. Went back to bearish for a couple bars as we got our higher low, and now trying to flip back to bullish, turning positive here. The background behind the cloud is turning back to bullish. I think you're going to go into positive territory here, and I think you're going to end this. From our peak over here, again, we have been consistently in the negative region here, and now I think we're about to bust out of this range, and right here, again, consistently negative. I think we're going to move into the positive territory, get into the positive portion of the cloud, and I think bring this to a conclusion. I think momentum signals are flipping and about to shift the trend signals back to bullish. So again, I think you're going to attempt to get back in the positive portion of the cloud, maybe pull back into it if we get a breakout and back test of the trend line. We'll be watching that, but through the decline, my signals have been consistently bearish. But we did go lower. Again, we took out that January low. We did go lower than I thought to hit our 200 period moving average. But my signals consistently bearish. Now they're flipping back to bullish, as you're seeing in this video. So again, the herd's very bearish. My signals are turning back. Momentum signals are trying to turn back to bullish. I think you're getting bottoming tails in a bottoming process. So again, I believe the Bitcoin bottom that I called on Friday will be proven correct. Bitcoin has horizontal support directly overhead, so we got to have the momentum to be able to clear the downward trend line. That's where the IBIT gap is at, and be able to try to clear this resistance. And maybe we back test. We'll see if we do or not. But this is what I think is likely going to be the case. We're also bouncing off the VWAP support, and this is from the August low where we bottomed out at 49,000. VWAP support near that 200 period that we're bouncing off of. Likely now momentum shifting back to bullish. We're likely going to see a lot of my trending signals, my swing trending signals, turn back to bullish. Like right here, we're probably going to attempt to break that downward trend line. Don't lose sight of the big picture. We've likely completed wave 4 here. We're likely starting our first subwave of minor wave 5, where we're going to complete a top up here. This could take us towards 135,000, just above it, just below it, the channel line. Don't lose sight of the big picture. S&P or Bitcoin is likely headed to the upper channel line, where it's going to peak out there. Again, whenever the trend line is my target, if we reach it sooner rather than later, it'll be lower. It'll be, 135,000 or less. If we reach it, take our time reaching it, it will be above that. Could be above 140,000, 140,000, or maybe above it if we take our time. But this is where I think we're going to complete the top, and then you're going to get a bear market. Nobody's going to think that's the top when we get there. The amount of complacency we had here is going to be on steroids up here. You're going to have complacency 2.0. Going to get the massive rug pull, and eventually you're coming back down to take out the 15,000 low in a large ABC move. Bitcoin's going to price in the recession, and it's going to have a wrecking ball taken to it when the recession happens. Don't lose sight of the big picture. Now, I've been posting a Bitcoin video each and every day because of the volatility, and I think a bottoming process has already underway. As I said last Friday, I thought Bitcoin bottomed. I think that will be proven correct at that 200 period moving average. S&P and the NASDAQ joined Bitcoin in testing the 200 period moving averages, and it looks like they're trying to bottom out now as well. I think you're going to get a relief rally surrounding either reduced tariffs, the tariffs being paused, maybe some kind of deal, more exemptions from the tariffs. We had today a rally with Bitcoin and the stock market as Trump threw the stock market a bone and paused tariffs on the automakers. He paused it for a month, and again, might be exempt from the whole thing. We'll see what happens, but again, you're going to get this massive rally back up. And again, if they come out with a deal or another pause, Canada and the United States and Mexico, they reach some kind of deal, which they did last time for a pause. I see markets rally big time. And today we saw that on hopes that, again, we might get more concessions or reductions with the tariffs, different tariff amounts, or maybe, they come to a deal. We get another pause, whatever it may be. But again, there's a lot of hope. And again, I've been warning you about this. And again, the herd has been so negative. That's why I predicted the bottom last Friday on Bitcoin. I think I'm going to be proven correct on that. We have the markets, they went negative back to test the lows on the daily charts with the 200 periods, exactly what Bitcoin did the previous day. So they're following Bitcoin's lead. Bitcoin's likely going to go now above the peak from when we had the rally on Sunday and Monday there, and then it sold off with the announcement, Trump's announcement on the crypto strategic reserves. We're going to go above that level. We're probably in our third wave of our first subwave Bitcoin. I'll show you that wave count. Watch the video all the way through and you'll see important things. Had a big rally. Just now starting the Thursday session, we're down just a little bit, 0.43% after a big rally. I drew this in before we got the rally. And again, talked about the wave 1 and the wave 2. And again, this could be a leading diagonal in sections of threes. Very well could be. But I think we're going to make our way to try to take out the downward trend line, get above the 200 period here in our 4-hour time frame. And I think you've got your wave 1. And I think we'll overthrow that level. And if we go to 100,000 or overthrow 100,000 is right there, or overthrow it, you could see this pullback to backtest the trend line. So again, I think we're going to make an attempt to get above this level. I think Bitcoin is bottomed with the higher low. Again, you got people so angry at Trump. A lot of well-known YouTubers that do Bitcoin videos. This massive sell-off here, and again, the whales and the big money, they've been selling. The Black Rocks and the big guns, the big institutional guns and billionaires, they've been selling into the rallies. And then we get this rally back up, and all these people, social media, talking about Trump pulling some kind of scam. Well, they've been selling all this time. What do you think? And I talked about this. You got Peter Schiff out there saying that, and others, people with massive followings, talking about this being some kind of scam, and it's called the big money's continuing to sell into the rallies. But we're going to go higher, and then we're going to eventually, again, they're going to keep selling as we go higher. But this is a wave 2. We're getting a higher low. It's a bottoming process. We're getting this selling to get a higher low to complete a bottoming process, and all these people that told us the sell-off was never, ever going to happen. I called the top back on Inauguration Day, told you we were going to get a sell-off, but we even went lower than I thought we would go, back to that 200 period moving average. Kept telling us all the way down, there's no way we're going lower. Over here, we get this rally, and then on it the biggest rug pull in history, when again we're just pulling back. These people get so emotional. You got all these moon boys out there, moon girls, just fit to be tied, just angry and saying that Donald Trump's pulling this scam, and it was announced something, and the big money sold the rally, give us a higher low. This is called a bottoming process. But these people are so delusional, so far gone. They only believe Bitcoin goes up. Bitcoin never goes down. It only goes up. And again, that's why, remember this, when we go higher, when we go to new highs, they're going to be saying the same thing they said back at the January top, back at the December top, that they've said here. Next time, when we rally up to new highs and we get the top, the blow-off top completes, it's going to complete a top, and we're going to get a quick drop of about 50%, and be saying the same thing that they've been saying here, because that's what they always say. Bitcoin 200,000, Bitcoin 500,000, Bitcoin 700,000, Bitcoin 1 million. Try to outdo each other. These unrealistic expectations when, again, we're likely going to go up to the upper end of the channel and top out there. Bullish, but we're likely going to top out at the trend line of resistance, the Fibonacci extensions, and these things. Major resistance at, and we're in the final phase of the blow-off top. So I think wave 4 did complete here, but I drew this in where it's playing out, and I think we're going to try to take out that 200 period here, get above this high next, and we can do that tomorrow. We've now started the new session for Thursday. We could do that Thursday or Friday, try to clear this area, and then I think you're going to end up topping out and probably maybe back test or pull back or something. But I think we're completing our first subwave here. Of minor wave 5, and I think minor wave 4 completed here. So again, the S&P is doing exactly what Bitcoin's doing on the 60-minute chart as Bitcoin's doing here. It did here on the 4-hour chart. So the stock market's going to follow Bitcoin's lead. All the leader, and Bitcoin is the leader. There's just so much opportunity on at the 200 period moving average with Bitcoin, and people getting fearful and selling at the bottom or sitting there complaining and not taking. Bitcoin went on sale. That's what happened. You had a blue light sale on Bitcoin like they used to do at Kmart years and years ago. But look at the bullish divergence here in IBIT, the Bitcoin ETF. And again, great opportunities. We had a divergence right here. I talked about the opportunities Wednesday and then that Friday bottom, and then with our pullback here, another with my last video, I talked about the pullback here with the testing of the 200 again. Great opportunities, and people are sitting here being a bunch of crybabies because we've had a pullback for wave 4. Absolutely incredible. Now, I think that, again, I've talked about these two gaps. I told you which one's going to fill first. Are we going to go up here and try to fill it and pull back? Or do we have a short-term gap and trap with this one right here? And now we get another one. Look at this. We gapped lower, but went in the other direction now. So again, I think we have the higher low. IBIT, the higher low on Bitcoin for the wave 2 is now done. I think IBIT's now going to come back, fill the gap, take out the high here. And again, we're going to get the White House Crypto Summit on Friday. You're going to get Powell speaking. We're going to get the jobs report. Even if we get bad news with the jobs report, you got a lot of good things. The announcement of the crypto strategic reserves. We're going to hear more about that at this Crypto Summit. There's rumors flying around that there's going to be this tax break on crypto. Again, I don't know if that's a rumor or if that has any truth to it. Who knows? But again, get the resolution with the tariffs. What do you think is going to happen? If we get a pause with the tariffs, or if we get more concessions, and Trump again paused the tariffs on the auto industry, and Bitcoin in the market loved it. I think you're forming a bottom, and something, as I keep saying, is going to happen with the tariffs. So busy trying to convince us, oh, there's this trade war going on. How do you know we're not going to? The whole idea of the tariffs is to stop, the tariffs in other countries, get free trade. How do you know that's not going to happen? Trade war is possible, but the media is telling us, oh, how bad Trump's tariffs are. But what about tariffs in Europe and Canada and other countries? Those tariffs aren't bad. And those tariffs don't cause inflation. Just the tariffs the United States has. Those are bad tariffs. Those are the tariffs that cause inflation. You see how irrational the media is being, and the people are believing all this nonsense. If caused inflation, we would have massive inflation over in Europe and in Canada right now. We have hyperinflation. We don't have that because it's a bunch of nonsense. So I think we're rallying back up to the trend line. I think we're rallying back up to the 200 here on IBIT. And again, I think you've got this wave 5 going on now, or this 5-leg push higher, first subwave of minor wave 5. So I think you're going to probably overthrow the trend line, come back into resistance, maybe hit 100,000 or just over 100,000, just under it. And I think you're going to, again, pull back. If we overthrow 100,000, you can get a back test and get something like that. So we'll see what happens. Do we finish a 5-leg push higher? And again, it might be the leading diagonal, so there could be overlapping. If we have legs of 3 going on here, we'll be watching to see how this unfolds. We'll be watching to see, do we go up to the trend line for a test and halt there and pull back, or do we try to clear this level on IBIT? Kinds of opportunity down here with IBIT and with Bitcoin, and about the opportunities all last week, and then with our back test now, all kinds of opportunities surrounding that 200 period moving average. And people are so fearful that they don't realize that a bottom is developing. I believe I correctly called the bottom on Friday with our test of the 200 period with our doji. Again, the S&P and NASDAQ following Bitcoin down. Again, Bitcoin broke the support area. We took out the January low. We moved a little bit lower here. We hit the 200 and we got a bottoming tail. I told you I thought that we bottomed that day, but you had great opportunities. Buyers came in right here with the Wednesday session, and then again here with the Friday session, we dropped 7%. And again, as we were down here, I told you Bitcoin was bottoming on social media. And I made the video as we rallied up to the 200 period. And I said, again, Bitcoin's bottoming. I think that's being proven correct now. We had the big rally with the strategic reserves announced. And then again, got rejection at the 20 period and pulled back here to test it again and get a higher low. This is what markets do. They test and retest. That's what, and a bunch of these people that are just throwing a fit, making things up. Oh, Donald Trump, he's pulling a dump in pump and dump scam and all this other. I mean, these people are just so far gone. They're so out of touch with reality because we've had a sell-off now they never saw coming. And again, I called the top over here. I called the top over here. I called the bottom over here. Told you I thought we could bottom around this area, this support zone area, and the January low and this low right here. And again, we went a little bit lower. A little bit lower than I thought. But these people that are being crybabies right now, again, what has been going on? We've been seeing what? What have we been seeing? Distribution, 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 distribution. A lot of distribution here. Okay, we went sideways, a lot of distribution, and now more distribution, but we're likely bottoming. This time it's a scam. Absolutely incredible. These people are so delusional to what's going on, and that's why I'm telling you, we're going to go higher. They're going to be clapping and going yay, 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 and we're going to peak on Bitcoin up at the channel line. Bitcoin's going to begin to price in the recession, and it's going to drop. Once we peak, it's going to drop into 2026, probably mid to late 2026, probably as long as early 2027. But we're going to have this bear market ride it all the way down. Okay, they didn't see this coming. Okay, they didn't see this bottom right here. Again, I told you I'm looking for a bottom. Did we go lower than I thought? Yes, but I called a bottom right here. I thought the January low would hold. I always tell you what I think. Right or wrong, I tell you what I think. Very few people have the guts to do that. I do. We went a little bit lower, and I told you I thought a bottom would form around this 200 period, just at it or just below it, and it did, and that's when I called that bottom on Friday. I think that is going to hold. The market is likely testing the 200, likely following Bitcoin's lead, and we formed the bullish divergence at that low on the RSI. The stock market's doing the same thing right now, the NASDAQ and S&P. Following Bitcoin. So again, we're likely going to go higher. And then we've got this resistance to contend with. If we break out, I think you go into the resistance area here, the resistance zone, or maybe above it. Maybe you clear that level and then you come back. We'll see what happens. If you can break out and back test, maybe you don't back test. The best moves don't look back. They just keep going. But I think eventually you're going to start coming up here and clearing the 109,000 area. And again, you're going to see massive short covering up there because you got all these people now telling us it's not going to happen. People are now turning bearish down here at the bottom, and that's why I get so bullish down here, because the herd, the people that told us the sell-off was never going to happen, now they're turning extremely bearish and crying and telling us, it's a scam, making things up. Because, again, they can't understand that the big money, the BlackRocks of the world, are selling into the rally back up, and they're going to hold some more, and the BlackRocks and billionaires and institutions are going to sell some more, and they're going to cry some more. That's what the herd does. I mean, they're oblivious to what's going on. Markets go up, markets go down. Trader, I'm taking advantage of this opportunity. This is a great opportunity that has presented itself on Wednesday, on Friday, and then again yesterday. These opportunities down here to buy Bitcoin at a discount. What I did, I took advantage of this and took a big position surrounding the 200 period moving average. Opportunity. Now, we're seeing the MACD turn back up as we start the session. Again, I think the MACD is going to go back in a positive territory. It was these divergences that gave us a sell-off in December when I called that top. And again, remember, we turned off of the trend line at the December high and the January high. And again, we were told there's no possible way that that's going to happen. But yet it did. Now we're seeing the MACD turn back up. Again, I think you're going to bottom and you're going to go back up in here. And again, we're back in... back into the trading range here. We're back above the January low, and here, the low right here, we're just underneath it, right there in early February. That was the tariff sell-off low. Do we get above this level? I think you're going to clear the trend line here probably before the week ends. Plastic rolled over, but it's turning back up and getting above 50 now. So I think you're going to get a big rally. And I think, again, we could hear something as soon as overnight or tomorrow surrounding the tariffs being paused, or a deal, or more concessions, or more reductions in the amount of tariffs, anything. But again, one thing nobody's considering is, when if we get a deal? When if the tariffs end up going away in both countries, which would be a win-win for Canada and Mexico and the U.S. I don't like tariffs. Free trade. Media is telling us, Trump's doing this because he's in love with tariffs. He wants the tariffs in other countries to go away. And he said that if they go away, then he's not going to impose them on other countries. He wants free trade. I get it. I'm a free trader, so I understand that.